You probably already know this specific feeling by heart. You walk through the door after an endless day, drop your keys in a spot you will undoubtedly forget later, and before you've even taken off your shoes, you are already talking to your pet. "Hi, I'm back. You wouldn't believe the day I had." And the funny part is, they look you straight in the eye, as if they truly believe your story, as if they had been waiting all afternoon just to hear this exact account. Maybe you've already caught yourself narrating your household chores out loud, asking your cat why he is sitting in your spot again, or explaining to your dog why you can't share your meal when you both know perfectly well that you will eventually give in. It feels natural, almost too natural, like a conversation that has been going on for years and you are simply picking it up where you left off. But there is always that tiny moment of hesitation, the one where you wonder if other people do this, if it's normal, and why it seems so much easier to talk to your animal than to certain humans. If you have ever tried to explain this bond to someone who doesn't talk to their pets, you know that look, half confused, half amused, that seems to say, "Wait, you talk to them like they can answer you?" But I think you already know the truth. It isn't about a verbal answer. It's the way your pet tilts their head when you speak, the way they blink slowly, move their ears, wag their tail, or lean their whole weight against you. They aren't listening to your words, they are listening to you. And somewhere inside, even if it's hard to explain, you feel that someone finally understands you without demanding anything in return. Here's something fascinating that psychologists have brought to light. People who talk to their pets as if they were human consistently score higher in emotional intelligence and empathy. They're better at reading emotions, at noticing subtle signals, and at forming authentic bonds. Not because they're overly sentimental, but because they're naturally attuned to the emotional world around them. It makes sense when you think about it. When you can sense what a creature with no words is feeling, you develop a kind of intuitive perception that most people struggle with. It means your emotional radar is sharp, your awareness is sensitive, and your ability to understand others runs deeper than average. That is why talking to pets comes so naturally to you. It is simply an extension of the empathy you already carry within you. So let's start with this simple, familiar moment you have lived 1,000 times, talking to your pet like a person, because on some level, they are someone to you, someone with whom you feel safe, someone who sees you in their own way, someone who never forces you to translate your feelings. And maybe you've never stopped to wonder why it felt so real, so comforting, and so instinctive. That's what we're going to explore now. You see, there's something most people overlook. Talking to your pet isn't a random act. There's a whole psychological pattern underneath it, and you've been doing it instinctively for years. First, let's talk about anthropomorphism. The term sounds complicated, but it's actually one of the most universal human tendencies. Your mind naturally attributes human qualities to the things you feel connected to, especially beings that feel steady, loyal, and emotionally consistent. It's the same instinct that drives us to name our cars, talk to plants, or whisper to stuffed animals when we were children. It isn't childish, it's human nature reaching for connection wherever it feels genuine. And here's the secret. Humans are wired to project emotion on beings that feel dependable. Here's why it works. Your pet doesn't interrupt, they don't argue, they don't twist your words, and they don't question your feelings. Their emotional tone never shifts unpredictably. Even more interesting, pets don't need language to communicate back. They rely on tone, rhythm, posture, and micro-expressions, and your brain picks up on all of it automatically. That is why your dog knows when your voice drops with exhaustion, why your cat comes closer when your breathing changes, why your bird chirps a certain way when your energy shifts. They aren't decoding your sentences, they're reading your signals. It's psychology doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your mind recognizes the stability and places emotion there because it feels safe. This ties directly into attachment theory, particularly Bowlby's early work. Animals often become emotional anchors, not because you expect them to understand metaphor or sarcasm, but because they offer something incredibly rare: affection without conditions and attention without judgment. People say they don't understand you, but what they miss is this: communication isn't just about words, it's about presence. And your pet offers you a presence that feels steady, open, and emotionally magnetic. So when you talk to them like a person, you're actually talking to the part of yourself that needs a moment of gentleness, a moment where you have nothing to defend and nothing to feign. Every time you speak to your pet, your brain regulates itself. You sort your emotions, you ground your thoughts, you verbalize what you didn't even know you were carrying. When you speak to your pet, you engage in a form of emotional regulation. Putting feelings into words relieves mental tension. Your breathing slows as you talk, your thoughts align instead of spiraling, and your nervous system settles because you're finally expressing something you were holding in. And even if your pet cannot reply verbally, something very real is happening. Animals process tone, rhythm, posture, and energy with stunning accuracy. They respond not to your sentence structure, but to your emotional signature. That is why your dog moves closer when your voice softens and pauses when they sense something heavier in your tone. So when you talk to your pet as if they were human, you're not being unrealistic. You're communicating in a way that both of you understand, just through different channels. This is where the story gets deeper, and I think you'll recognize yourself in this part. People who talk to their pets often share a common trait. They feel things intensely, not in a dramatic way, but rather like a quiet radar for emotional detail. You notice changes, pauses, and variations in tone that others ignore. You feel the vibe of a room before anyone even speaks. And honestly, this sensitivity is one of your strengths, whether you realize it or not. For many people, animals become the only place where that emotional depth finally fits, especially if you've spent years being misunderstood or dismissed. If you've had to repeat yourself to be heard, if people talked over you, minimized you, or treated your feelings as an overreaction, after a while, you stop opening up in those spaces. You look for connection that doesn't ask you to make yourself small. This often starts early in childhood patterns. Kids who weren't heard, who had to contain their emotions, or who were treated as if their inner world was too much, grow into adults who gravitate toward nonverbal presence. Animals don't ask for explanations, they don't debate your feelings, and that kind of connection feels like a relief your younger self never got. Carl Jung explained this beautifully. He believed that animals represent the parts of us that remain instinctive, untamed, honest, and sincere, the parts most people bury to fit into the world. When you talk to your pet, you're interacting with a mirror, not a mirror of your outer personality, but a mirror of the parts you forget: softness, loyalty, innocence, and intuition. When you speak to your pet, you're also speaking to the parts of yourself that you show to no one, the softer parts, the tired parts, the parts you hide because the world doesn't always handle them gently. With your pet, those pieces finally have room to breathe. This is where emotional meaning comes in. Talking to your pet isn't just a habit, it's a form of inner dialogue, but in a way that feels less heavy because you're not alone with yourself. Their presence stabilizes your emotional world, like a silent anchor that holds you in place when your mind starts to drift. And even though they don't use words, they respond not to grammar or logic, but to your energy, to the rise and fall of your voice, to the way your shoulders drop when you finally say something honest. This is what psychologists call co-regulation, syncing your emotional rhythm with another being. And animals do it naturally. Somehow, they just know. That is why pets become more than mere companions. They become emotional witnesses, someone you can speak to without fear of ridicule or rejection, someone who listens without twisting your meaning, someone who stays not because you earned it, but because that is who they are. The bittersweet truth is that many people feel better understood by animals than by humans. And honestly, that says more about your depth than anything else. It means you connect in a way most people aren't capable of. It means your emotional world is deeper, richer, more sincere. You have probably felt that moment when your pet moves closer without being called, or rests their head on you when you are trying not to cry, or stares at you with that strange intensity, as if they were reading you more accurately than anyone else ever has. It isn't imagination, it is emotional attunement. And here is something most people don't realize. Those who talk to their pets tend to be more emotionally aware than most. They don't just feel emotions, they understand them. They pick up on subtleties. They notice the human world in a way others rush past. That isn't weakness, that is depth. There's also a layer of memory to all this, an attachment to the version of you that still believes in loyalty, sincerity, and affection without conditions. Talking to your pet connects you to that inner version of yourself, the one who didn't have to pretend or earn anything. It is a reminder that there is still a part of you that feels life honestly, without filters. And maybe that is why this bond feels so strong. It isn't just between you and your pet, it's between you and the part of yourself you sometimes forget. So here is the truth you've probably already felt somewhere deep down. People who talk to their pets aren't strange, naive, or childish. They are something entirely different, something rarer. They are the people who feel life in a way others cannot. The ones who notice subtleties, the ones who actually see emotion instead of passing it by, the ones who understand connection beyond words. And maybe you don't give yourself enough credit for that, because talking to your pet isn't just a cute habit, it's a sign that your heart stayed open in a world that constantly tries to harden people. It means you haven't lost the ability to form bonds that are sincere, steady, and honest. Most people struggle with that. You don't. You connect deeply, instinctively, naturally. And that isn't something everyone can do. It's something people spend years trying to relearn. So, if you are someone who talks to their pet as if they were human, that says something good about you. It means you are intuitive enough to understand connection without needing constant explanations. It means you are emotionally intelligent in a way that needs no proof. It means you are still capable of tenderness in a world that often forgets how to offer it. You are not out of place for feeling this bond. You are ahead of the curve, aware, perceptive, and able to create closeness where others don't even notice the opportunity. And honestly, that is something to be proud of, because at the end of the day, talking to your pet isn't just about them, it's also a reflection of who you are. A person who still feels deeply, who still cares genuinely, and who still believes, even quietly, in a kind of connection that doesn't need words to be real. And that is a rare kind of strength.